Hi, I'm Sean.
And I'm Lori.
Along with our trusted canine companions, are taking off on a multi-week camping adventure. And we're going to be tossing up a lot of unedited, rough videos so you can watch along and see if you would want to do something this fun. When you're leaving Central Texas for the Rocky Mountains, it takes a long time to get there. We like to stop over at the Waylon Jennings Free RV Park in Littlefield, Texas. 14 nights a year for free, full hookups, and it's a good place to take a break from the highway. Crescent Park is about a 3-block walk from the RV park. It's a really pretty place to take your canine companions for a morning stroll in Littlefield, Texas. I would say this is the place to go. We didn't know exactly in the Rocky Mountains where we were headed at first, but we decided to stop over in Red River, New Mexico. It's a town in Taos County at an elevation of 8,688 feet. We spent a couple of nights there before we needed to be on further down the road to meet our friends. Next stop, South Fork, Colorado, to meet our friends Randy and Debbie Phyllis, and of course Rob Lyncher. This is our traditional Memorial Day campout that got postponed this year for a couple of weeks, but we all still got together and had a good time. When we left South Fork, we didn't know exactly where we wanted to stay, but we figured we would head to the Denver area, and Englewood, Colorado in particular. We stayed at the Ridgeline at River Run RV Park that is part of a 55-plus prefabricated home community. We were able to stay there for a moderate price of $75 a night, and there's a nice greenway that parallels the RV park along the river there and then feeds into the Platte River if you keep following it far enough to the east. Since we were in the Denver area, it was our first opportunity to connect with some of the kids. We were able to have dinner with Noah at a place downtown in Denver and also did some scooter riding to check out the local sites downtown. But if you want to get outside while you're in the Denver area, you should take an opportunity of the Highline Canal Trail. It runs from Waterton Canyon all the way out to the prairies on the east side, and it's a beautiful place to get outdoors. Here's how we look at RV park pricing. Anything below $50 a night is a good price. $50 to $75 is a moderate price, and above that is a high-priced resort as we look at it. We moved on to the Boulder County Fairgrounds, which is a $40 a night RV park with showers, water and electric hookups, dump station, but no sewer at the site. Great access to greenways, trails, bike routes, bird watching. So this is a good place to stay if you're looking for a lower priced RV park. 14 nights a year at this park at this price. Some of the things we were able to see and do while we were in the Longmont area include Dawson Park, which is on the edge of McIntosh Lake. You can hike around the lake about 3 miles, give your dogs a chance to cool off in the lake. On the west side of Boulder, there are a ton of trails. Look them up on alltrails.com. Flagstaff Road will take you to the trailhead for a lot of them. They go up, so be prepared to climb. You and your dogs will probably be breathing heavily, especially if you aren't used to the altitude like Lori and I were not. From there, we were lucky enough to be in Longmont on Bike to Work Day. Even though we weren't working, we did join in on the breakfast festivities and looked at some of the art along the greenways within Longmont. Very nice trail system all around the area. A lesson was learned while we were out. Don't play disc golf with your retrievers because they want to retrieve, and that ruins your score. So my advice, leave your retrievers at home if you're going to play disc golf. Noah did come out to join us for a hike at Rabbit Mountain Preserve, an open space on the northwest side of Longmont. Lots of trails there to be seen, and views were great. Nice hike, and from there we proceeded north, closer to Horsetooth Canyon, open space there. The kiosk was broken, so we didn't have to pay for anything to actually park there. Once again, beautiful vistas. They claimed there was falls there, but we didn't see any. It was pretty dry during the time of year we were there. We wrapped up our time in Longmont with one more tour along one of the local greenways, the St. Vrain Greenway. Once again, interesting things to see along the way if you're in Longmont for a few days. We left the city and now we're into the National Forest, Roosevelt National Forest, Kelly Dahl Campground. Huge difference from the city to the country. What do you think, Lori?
Beautiful.
Give you a quick look here of what we're going to be living in the middle of for the next week. As I mentioned, we were at Kelly Dahl Campground, which is in the National Forest. This one is in the Arapahoe National Forest. They're at an altitude of 8,600 feet. Due to mountain pine beetle infestation, a lot of the growth is fairly new, but it really is coming in nicely. The campground offers 46 single-family sites, some taking campers, some do not. Check recreation.gov to find out what you need. There's a maximum of 8 people per site, vault toilets, drinking water, trash collection. If you have an America the Beautiful Pass, you get a tremendous discount on how much it costs to stay. We stayed in this campground for a week for a total of $70. Keep in mind, you don't have any amenities, no dump station, no water hookups, no electric hookups, but it's nice. We moved on to Ryan Park Campground, located at 8,009 feet. It's in the Snowy Range Scenic Byway near Saratoga, Wyoming. The campground is next to Barrett Creek in the Medicine Bow National Forest. It has 49 campsites for RVs, same amenities as we had at the previous location. You have toilets and picnic tables, but the scenery is tremendous. From this location, we were able to do multiple hikes. As I said, Ben and Sydney are nearby. They came out and spent a day with us. We also went to the Saratoga Hot Springs, which there are no photos of, for an evening. But all in all, we had a very good time before moving on down the road. Moving on down the road means we're headed to Yellowstone. We were able to get a campsite in the 3 Mile Campground, which is 3 miles outside of the Yellowstone National Park. It's on Highway 14, directly west of Cody, Wyoming. From there, you can get into the park, but what you really don't know ahead of time is it's another 30 miles before you get to the loops to go around the park. There's a southern loop and there's a northern loop. We opted to take the southern loop on our first day in the park, where you see a variety of geysers, mud pots, and of course, Old Faithful. We were able to hike up a nature trail and look down on Old Faithful as it was geysing, and you can see from the photos the proportion between the size of the people and the size of the geyser going off. So it went up a long ways up in the air. But from there, we toured on around the southern loop, saw waterfalls, bison, which are quite friendly. As you can see, one walked right up to our truck window, and I was lucky enough to snap a photo of him before he stuck his head into the truck, which he didn't do. And then, of course, other geothermic activity throughout the day. Before doing the northern loop in Yellowstone, we decided to take a day and travel about 60 miles south from Yellowstone to Grand Teton National Park. The mountains down there are quite rugged looking and are quite amazing. We had a lot of smoke in the air from wildfires, so it caused us to not have the best air quality. The dogs did like getting out when we gave them the opportunity, and the area was a little more dog friendly than some of the other national park areas. Of course, we were always responsible pet owners. But from there, we went on and headed to the northern loop in Yellowstone. The northern loop of Yellowstone gave us a view of different geothermic activity, as well as additional waterfalls and some wildlife along the way. From Yellowstone, we headed to Idaho to the Springy Point Recreation Area, across the lake from Sand Point, Idaho, the location where my younger brother lives. Springy Point is a Corps of Engineers project, so it has different amenities than the National Forest campgrounds that we've been into at this point. There's actually flush toilets and a dump station located within the facility. Kevin took us on multiple hikes that he has done with his Boy Scout troop that he has been the Scoutmaster of for many years. And one of the best, in my memory of everything he took us on that week, was Plowboy Campground that took us to Upper Priest Lake, which is a long ways north, nearly to Canada, that's my understanding. Of course, our dogs enjoyed the time at the lake because Kevin took us to very dog-friendly locations. I was able to take a tour of the Buck Knife Factory, and Kevin's son, Matthew, who will be graduating from high school this year, was able to come join us for dinner. Gail also joined us and cooked some of the food over the stove. We had a great sunset that night. I think it was due to the smoke in the air once again. Kevin took us to the Schweitzer ski area, had some great views of the lake and beyond. If you look out to the south, and then just from where we were in the campsite, we were able to look out on the river here, and then as you look further to the, I'm going to say it's east, I sure hope it is, you will see the long bridge, not the big bridge, that you must go across to get to Sand Point from the Springy Point Recreation Area. We had a great time, once again, visiting with family before we moved on to see the other sites that were on down the road. At this point, we needed to make a decision on how we were going to get back to Central Texas. But while we were this far north, we figured let's go through Glacier National Park. Glacier National Park is east of Springy Point, and so I think while we actually drove a little bit further north and then east to get over to where it was located, we stayed at a campground that was a little on the pricey side, about $80 a night, but we were also at a gateway to the national park, so it was to be expected. But we drove through. You could spend days and days hiking here if you wanted to take the time. But of course, dogs aren't allowed on the trails in the national park. Our return route was determined when we got a phone call asking us to be in Pratt, Kansas to help out with the grandkids in about 10 days. So we had to meander around to additional places, one being the Phillipsburg Campground in Montana, which is on a beautiful lake. We were able to take several hikes within the area. We just stayed over one additional night, and it was just a very peaceful location to spend some extra time. From Phillipsburg Bay, we stumbled across Craters of the Moon National Monument on our way to Twin Falls. I wanted to go to Twin Falls to see the waterfalls, but Craters of the Moon is a very large volcanic plain in southern Idaho, and so if you're in the area, stop by. So we went on to Twin Falls. Twin Falls has the Niagara Falls of the West. It does not have national park status, but it is a state park in Idaho. But they honored our America the Beautiful Pass. It is also the location where Evel Knievel attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon. I remember being in front of my television with my family to watch Jim McKay on the Wide World of Sports while he tried to jump over the canyon. But like I said, we went to Twin Falls to see the falls. They were spectacular, and it was worth the drive to get there. But we had to get on our way down the road to Pratt, Kansas, so from there we headed to Flaming Gorge. As far as where we were going to stay next, we were kind of winging it at this point in time. I said, "Hey Lori, I've always wanted to go to Flaming Gorge in Utah." She said, "Sure, let's go." Neither of us thinking about it being August, and Flaming Gorge is in the desert. But we got lucky. The weather changed around and the highs were in the 80s during the time we were there. It is a national recreation area, so the amenities are a little bit different than in the Corps of Engineers or National Forest areas. But we came to see the big dam. We saw it. We also had really good hike that was available, and the dogs had a great time there. We found out that Dinosaur National Monument's just down the road, so while you're at it, why not go and hit another national monument? So we went down, and they had an enclosed building where the dig had taken place, and full fossils were still in the wall that you could go up and touch and see what had died there due to drought and then followed by a flood. We headed on to Pratt, Kansas. But first we stopped in Laramie to see Ben and Sydney again. We stayed a couple of nights at the county fairgrounds. If there's no other events taking place there, you can stay for $20 a night, 14 nights a year. We also went through the Denver area, stopped to see Noah again, and then on to Pratt, Kansas. While we were there with the kids, as you can see, the highlights was spending a day at Canopolis Lake, where we were able to cruise around in Michelle's boat and the kids to quite a bit.
Oh wait, we're going to be recording. Bye-bye. Okay, next. You want to do it again, Mom, or no?
No. Oh yeah, I'm doing it again.
Okay. You ready?
One more.
You gotta jump on it from the boat.
Okay. From the boat.
From the boat. Hi, Papa.
Hi there, Reagan, camera person of the year.
That's what you're good at.
I'm good at falling, thank you.
You ready?
Not really.
Okay, now. You can just see that big butterfly.
You ready, Mama?
You can just see that big butterfly. Oh, she's on.
I got it.
Oh,
Wait.
don't.
I'm just holding on.
Leave the rope, Jackson. Put it down.
Yep.
We're full.
No, we're in a horrible storm right now, and it's raining.
Raining tacos.
Oh, I'm drunk.
But it's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos, raining yum yum yummity yum. It's raining cheese. It's raining tacos all over the street.
Jackson, grab that gas.
As I mentioned about 20 minutes ago, getting out of Central Texas takes a long time. The same goes for getting back to Central Texas. So we break it up when we're coming from Kansas into a 2-day drive. We stop at the Lake Murray State Park in southern Oklahoma at the Elephant Rock Campground in particular. Our trip had us on the road for a little over 2 months. We saw multiple national parks, national monuments, national historic sites, and it was all great. We plan to spend more time on the road, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to share some of the events with you. We put a little more than 8,000 miles on the truck, and of course maintenance was required when it was all said and done.